Hey team, bosses direct, but leaders lead. Bosses direct, leaders lead. Just sit in that for a little while. Any leadership learning program I've ever been a student of has asked me to try to define what type of leader I am. I can never answer that question because I get caught up in all the definitions versus traits, skills, and attributes. From there, the conversation usually pivots to creating some distinction between management and leadership, administration and organisation. Many can manage, direct, boss, disseminate information and give instructions. Some are system developers, strategizing, organising processes, policies, procedures, and resources to fulfill these. Some are administrators, serving the systems developed, completing set tasks and documenting actions. Few are in fact leaders. Bosses are about tasks, leaders are about people. We get caught up thinking that leading is about systems too. Many of those in leadership roles prefer the boss in administrative work. It can be complicated, but it is somewhat more predictable, tangible, and manageable. People aren't. Leadership is about the sticky stuff. People are somewhat unpredictable. Tasks can be controlled where people can't. They are two different skill sets. In learning to lead, ironically, a large percent of our training goes into the administration tasks of our roles. How to write a budget, understanding purchasing procedures, staffing projections and requirements, health and safety, compliance, presentations, strategic plans, performance management, as examples. And less seems to go into the leadership skills needed to make these things happen. When are we taught to connect, to communicate, to listen, to build engagement, to lead change strategies, and to build capacity? Our work seems to come back to numbers, accountability, results, and measures. But to get there, to get the results, it takes the soft skills of people. Building trust, circles of safe conflict and challenge, building commitment, working with integrity, building credibility. Who teaches leaders this stuff? The intangibles. Tangibles are much easier to master. Learning to lead is hard. You can develop a skill set, but the application to different settings and scenarios is always different. We hear things like leaders need to influence and motivate, convince or coerce. Sounds more like a salesman than a leader. Tasks and people have different language sets, red and blue lanes. Dive back into that book, Leadership as Language by L. David Marquette. Red lane work is about management, organisation, administration, and task. It's using closed and control verbs. Complete, monitor, resolve, conduct, manage, direct, oversee, supervise, provide, perform, and conform. Blue lane work, on the other hand, is about leadership, using open verbs focused on invitational language. Create, consider, explore, collaborate, propose, initiate, recommend, choose, decide, determine, connect. A week or two ago, I went through my job description, looking at each thing listed. Where did it fit? How much of my job description was about people and how much of it was about task? What verbs did it use? How many compliance check and accountability directives were in there? And what percentage weighted to building capacity, vision, and collaboration? I was shocked. I'm sitting on this one for a bit with a plan to revisit my job description in the summer. Let's say I found it productively disruptive to my thinking. It doesn't necessarily match my vision for what I think my work is. The piece of paper doesn't match my actions, and I have to work out which one isn't aligned. I know my role calls for me to manage, to be an administrator, and to organise things, but I see most My most important work is to lead and to support others as they learn to lead. I find it interesting when I work with leaders who tell me they told people what to do. They sent an email. They gave them the resources. And then I ask, and when did you lead? Leadership is about people. Being a boss is about tasks. Are you a boss or a leader? And do you know the difference?